Hello, hello, hello. Here we are now entering stage 3 of your projects for MMDD 255, Emerging Multimedia Practice 2. Here we are now, over halfway through this whole condensed 9-week semester, so you should be quite a bit far along on your projects by now, as you're also addressing other things in the program at this point with your portfolio and work placement and all that kind of stuff. It's been great to meet with you all one-on-one, not only to learn about the projects you're building for this class, but just to get a sense of where everyone's at mentally. Definitely students seem way less stressed than they were last semester, which is always great to see. So hopefully you feel a bit more freedom, a bit more flexibility, and just more less stress as you are working on your projects in this class. And of course, as always, hopefully the process feels fulfilling for you. I'll go ahead and just get into things here with the course and try not to, actually spend too much time. Just kind of get to the quick info and make sure you're all caught up to speed on everything. Now, most important thing that I want to make sure I cover here at the start of the video is there are some new things being added to the course for specifically the last 2 weeks. So after reading week, which is technically stage 4, but I want to cover them here just so you know what to expect and you can plan for it. And that is that there's going to be a guest speaker coming to the class online. And so, I encourage you obviously all to attend and participate in that. And I'm going to be running an in-person session on campus towards the end of your projects for an opportunity to come by in person for, any feedback or resources or whatever it might be at that point that you could use for your project. So just to see this info here, there's a guest speaker week 8. Again, so after reading week, but it's good to have it on your radar. It'll be on Friday, March 13th from noon to 1 o'clock online. So here's the meeting link. The guest speaker is Anna Gordievska. She is an MMDD graduate from 2022 who has led a very successful design career. She started working at Deloitte upon graduation. I think her work placement was there as well. And now manages her own design team for Realtor.ca. But beyond, being a very sort of professional and successful person in that way, she's also very human, and it's always great to connect with her. And she's built this career, again, 2022. It's only been 4 years out in the industry, but she's already had a lot of success and sort of built herself up a lot. But she's done all of this while also raising twins. She has a dog and a cat. And she also, has been juggling some geopolitical anxiety because she's from Ukraine. So all of that to say there's a lot on her mind beyond work, but she's able to really work on a way to balance that and, have success in addressing both sides of that part of life if we're to think of them as two separate things. So Anna's going to come to the class online and she'll share insights and tips on applying for jobs, starting your design career, and maintaining this work-life balance as well through her own sort of learning she's experienced over these past handful of years. And her advice, I think, will be invaluable for all students in the MMDD program. She's a fantastic person, speaker, professional, and I have a lot of respect for her as a graduate and just as a person. And, it's funny because reaching out for her to come to the class, she was like, oh, let's figure it out. And I was like, can you come by this week? And she's like, actually, I'll be in Hawaii that week. So I'm like, that's pretty great. It's fantastic to hear that she'll be off in Hawaii for some time. I think we'd all love to be in Hawaii right now. So great to hear that she's, again, living her life to the fullest while also being very successful. Now, the exciting thing is that there's an extension opportunity. So if you attend this guest speaking event, you'll get an extension on your stage 4 submission. So usually it's due Friday, March 20th at 11 p.m. And that's a hard set deadline. No late waivers for stage 4, as it's always said. So that's when you would have to submit your project to get a SAT in the course. But if you go to this guest speaking event, that extends to the following Monday, March 23rd at 11:59 p.m. So that gives you an actual additional weekend if you need to, and the additional day of Monday to work on refining your case studies for stage 4. So that's kind of an incentive, obviously, to have you attend this guest lecture, but just in general, it would be very beneficial for you. Here's Anna's LinkedIn page if you want to check it out. Again, design leader, very professional and impressive. Builds design systems. You can read about all the stuff she's done and, take a look at her job history and all this kinds of stuff. So again, It's fantastic to see the success that she's had as a graduate from this program, and she has a lot of great insights into, again, just building your career. And even when I just talked to her recently, she talked about how important being a self-starter was. And, you might appear on day one to your job and no one's telling you exactly what to do. So you kind of have to figure it out yourself. It'll be overall tasks you need to complete, but how do you do that? And the skills you're learning in this class, that sort of independence and having to kind of create schedules on your own to still reach specific deadlines and deliverables, that's a skill that she's had to use a lot in her career. So just some things to, again, tie together what you're learning in this class, in this program, to future success in your careers. And, she's done, I think it says here, she has all kinds of licenses. She's done speaking events already at, TMU, and various other places. She is associated with Humber. She's still, like I said, is engaging with the school through guest speaking opportunities like this. And, she has like great like coworker reviews and recommendations on her LinkedIn. So again, very stacked. But like I said, as much as she's obviously a professional here, she's just a great person to connect with. So highly, highly recommend. And again, the incentive that you get an extension should be exciting, I would hope. And I'll also be doing an in-person drop-in session, week 9. So that's the final week of this condensed semester. But so it's right up to the edge of when you would be working on these case studies. So, some final tweaks and feedback as you finish them up. So that's Friday, March 20th from noon to 3 o'clock. It'll be in BCTI 306, which is the room with the whole Lego world thing, if you've been there. That's the big special fancy building that's next to... It's there on campus, but it kind of looks like the some sort of Star Wars vehicle or something if you've never been. So I'll be running an in-person drop-in session. You can come by. I'll be there. Connect with me. I can look over your portfolio, whatever that time might be helpful for you. But also any of your peers that you connect with them too. But I know you see them a lot, I think on Thursdays with Rob as well. So, just an opportunity to connect. And I've gotten feedback from students before that, having some in-person stuff in these classes might be beneficial. So trying it out, seeing if it gains any traction. And, especially if you felt that would be helpful for you. I'm putting it out here in the course for specific people who have said that. So I encourage you to come by. So those are important things I just want to cover here that are, again, kind of different than what you might expect in terms of how the semester is going to unravel. But I think very important and helpful, additions to the course as we near the end here. And as you transition from, being a student to a professional, which is, an exciting time, even though it might also bring a lot of anxiety for you and things like that. But I promise, again, success in your future. So this video is about stage 3, which is happening across weeks. I won't quite say, but you can sort of discern the week names there. The overview is where you're going to find this video. Obviously, I feel like this information is pretty clear to you by this point. You did the pre-production stage. You had a lot of time to do the pre-production stage. The reason being that, you should have made all of your big creative decisions by now and laid a very clear foundation for the production stage. So this stage should now go quite smoothly for you. Might seem like it's a bit condensed and a bit fast, but again, that's the nature of this semester. So you spend a lot of time researching, planning, scoping out your project. Now's the time to really get in there, the nitty-gritty, and making these things. So again, I think you kind of get a sense of what the production stage is about. You've done it before. You'll follow the similar pattern. You'll learn a lot of new things as you create your assets and have a nice high quality product to put in your portfolio. And stage 4 is when you're going to actually make the case study to present it, right? And, keep track of your time on the timesheet, update your project plan. And the project plans that were also submitted in stage 2, not everyone's was fully complete. I think there was maybe some confusion with certain weeks that were said when you needed to have filled out. But fill out your full project plan for the whole 9 weeks. Check off any tasks as you complete them during stage 3, and you'll be good to go into the future. One of the things about stage 3 is there's a peer feedback session. So you'll meet with your remote team you've been assigned during this stage. You'll fill out the peer feedback form. It can be online or in person. You've done this before. And, like I said, you have the in-person classes already on Thursday with your whole day with Rob, which is nice and exciting. Sure that you'll meet with each other that day, that time. So that's a very simple way to, I think, meet with your teams is everyone just, hey, when we're on campus on Thursday, why don't we meet up and also get feedback on these projects in this class? So that should hopefully be pretty easy for you. And, like I said, this time around, I created these groups, ideally based around career interests, which I would have learned what they were last semester with your final projects. So hopefully you get some good connections there and thinking about the future as colleagues. And your stage 3 submission, pretty straightforward. You have a timesheet, your updated plan, again, making sure that all weeks of the course are filled out there. Peer feedback form, and examples of production work. So pretty straightforward. You've done all this before. It's just a matter, obviously, of spending the majority of your time working on your project, really building it up, making sure that it's something that's going to be a great addition to your portfolio, as I know you're thinking a lot about that at this point of the program. And I have, even though this says it's for weeks, so leading up to reading week, I do have it due the following Monday. Not that I necessarily encourage you to use reading week to, catch up on your project for this course. But if we look at the overall calendar here, your stage 2 submission, right, that was shifted from this Monday because Monday's a holiday. Hopefully you're able to enjoy yourself, get some rest, relaxation, recoup, do things that you enjoy. And then, these 2 weeks when you're working on stage 3, that's not that much time, especially with that with that's being due Tuesday. That's kind of one less day. So rather than your submission being due on Friday the 27th, which is before reading week, which would be very tight timeline, I have moved it to the Monday following reading week. So this is reading week is the 2nd through the 6th, and then this is when your stage 3 submission is due. And then that gives you 2 weeks to finish up stage 4 to really polish things, make sure it's in a good professional state, have your portfolio, Behance case study ready to showcase and to move onward with your lives. And you can see in here, I've also put in the guest speaker on the 13th when Anna will come by, and then the drop-in also on the 20th there on campus for you to come by for that as well. So, stage 3, pretty open. You'll be working on your projects, obviously, getting peer feedback during this time. And then as we get into the final 2 weeks of this condensed semester, there's just some other stuff going on, like the guest speaker and the drop-in session. Now, I clicked out. With all of that, I think that's it, honestly. So I tried to be, concise with it this time around. I think the most important thing to be aware of is the sort of guest speaker and in-person session. Keep that on your minds, know that it's coming. And other than that, good luck and enjoy working on these projects. Like I said, it was great to meet with y'all talking about these. I see some of you all on campus too, because I teach at that time, running into the halls and stuff. So it's good to see y'all then. Any questions, as always, reach out to me via Blackboard messages. Happy to also meet with you for any additional reasons, online or in person on those Thursdays since I'm on campus. And excellent. Onward.